Doing your best might always mean something different. In a different season of life, your capabilities to give your best are completely different. And I think that's important. I think that's an important understanding to have, an important distinction.
The way that you measure yourself has to be different. If you have an ankle injury and you're playing soccer, you can't think you suck when you're actually on the field and still scoring goals, even though you're not the all-star MVP or whatever.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode, number 1191. Is this one mistake holding you back? We talked about making decisions today. For episode number 1192, happy Wednesday. Doing your best always means something different. I enjoy episodes like this because we can take something that might be a blanket statement that you hear and we can unpack the layers. So I had a call with a client who I have not talked to in a while. And I said, hey, catch me up, as Alan would say, catch me up on what's going on in your life. How do you feel the podcast is doing? How is the reality versus your expectations? And this person said something very interesting that highlighted this episode for me. She said, honestly, I'm grateful I've just gotten through the last couple months. And I said, take me through, like, what do you mean? And she said, I went through some really hard family stuff. I ended up hurting myself. I hurt my ankle and I had to go get that looked at. And I was in a cast for a little while due to some things that are happening with my family. I had to go back to work and there's just a lot of things happening that I'm struggling. She said, it's been a victory for me to get through the last couple months. And in that moment, Alan, I had that realization that somebody going through that or their own personal level of that, it would be very hard to go listen to a motivational speech or listen to an ego-driven podcast where people say, you're not doing enough, do better. You're not doing enough, do more. This person's a fairly high achiever. This person is not lazy. This person is more ambitious than your average human for sure. But when you're struggling just to keep up, maybe that's what doing your best looks like. Maybe it looks like pushing out an episode a week and just getting by and doing the basics. Now, is that the long-term goal? No. But I do think that we've talked about permission, giving yourself permission, giving yourself grace. Again, you can definitely overtake that medicine, but I think a lot of us deal with the guilt around that. Or there's other people that we see doing more, or we're getting told to do more by certain people. That's what this episode is. Doing your best might always mean something different. In a different season of life, your capabilities to give your best are completely different. And I think that's important. I think that's an important understanding to have, an important distinction, and that's why we're doing an episode on it.
So circle back to July, and Emilia is like, I think we need to plan for the holidays. And it's on our whiteboard. We have a whiteboard in the center of our house. And we put it off and we put it off. And I asked her, like, why? And she's like, Q4 is going to be brutal. I don't know. I can feel it. I know Q4 this year is going to be really hard. Q4 being October, November, December. Fast forward. We've got the Next Level Hope Foundation event that we just did on Sunday. We've got closing out the year. We've got new team members we're onboarding. She, same deal. Plus she's doing a bunch of new stuff at her other company, Alchemies. And then we've got family. We've got Thanksgiving, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays, that kind of thing. And on top of that, we also have a new kitten this year, which is awesome. And so Tucker and Tariel are, a primary focus, at least at this stage. And then fast forward to now. And we're starting to understand why she wanted to be so proactive. So she sits me down, or not sits me down. We're late at night. We have deep talks in the evening and we're in bed. And she says, I just feel like I haven't been a very good partner lately. And I'm really sorry. I've been overwhelmed and I've been trying to lead my team and I've been trying to, do this huge budget at work. And I've been, trying to keep up with fitness and all this different stuff. And then the Books for Babes is the name of the charity initiative that we do every holiday season. And so I essentially said this to her. I said, sweetheart, just because the trend line has been down lately in terms of your contributions to what we call the we, aka our relationship. You have the two me's and the we. We have a business built on that. And the we is your relationship. So just because you're not pouring as much into the we as you normally would doesn't mean that I'm concerned. And here's why. Because I know I can zoom out and I can see that in the holistic long-term view of our relationship, the trend line is up. And so I want to give everyone an example. So I have one of my clients tracking sleep. And some nights it's 8, some nights it's 5, some nights it's 4, some nights it's 12. 12 hours. She was sick with COVID and she slept 12 hours for like a week straight. She started out when we first started coaching, and this has to be at least 6 months ago, tracking her sleep every single night, every single night, every single night. If I look at just 1 week that's bad, or 2 weeks that's bad, the trend line is down and it looks like she's losing. But if I zoom out to the whole 6 months of the coaching, the trend line is up. And so to Kevin's point here, it really is important to understand that if you got a new kitten, had a kid, hurt your ankle, Q4 holidays, family, all this stuff is happening and the trend line is temporarily down just if you zoom into this week or this month, that does not mean that you're losing. All it means is be aware of it. And I told Emilia this to circle back. I said, sweetheart, just because the last 3 weeks, yes, honestly, the trend line has been going in the wrong direction the last 3 weeks regarding our relationship. We've been spread thin, 6 days a week, if not 7, working. But I understand that we're going to stay on top of it. And I know that the moment Q4 is over, 2023, we're going to start building. And I guarantee you that trend line is going to be up. And honestly, it's going to be up even more than it could have been because right now in this grind phase, is what we're calling it, grind phase, we're learning so much and we're improving a lot personally and professionally in and out of our relationship. And then we've been doing the NLU Fit Pick Challenge for 290 days now. I'm excited for that 365 to be over. And I don't know, I don't think I'll continue it, but like she's doing it with me. She's like 280 days in a row of exercise or something like that. 280 days for her, 290 days for me. We have Tucker and Tariel. We both have businesses. She has a full-time job. We have a household to keep up. We have families and the holidays and charity events and these. It's like, of course. I don't want you to feel bad. Of course. I totally understand. And I think to the listeners, hopefully you're out there listening to this and realizing like, okay, so, and I literally said this to her. I said, we just have to weather this storm. And we're good. As long as you think we're good, like the we is good, I'm good. So you have all the reassurance you need to keep doing what you're doing. And we're going to be fine. I know we can weather this little storm. I know we can. I'm not concerned on the macro at all. On the micro, yeah, I wish we could spend a little more time together or whatever, honestly, because she's been working late. But I'm okay with that. I get it. And honestly, with our goals, and this is what I said to her, with our goals, it makes sense. There's no such thing as no sacrifice. So, the way that you play the game in this analogy needs to change based on whether or not you have an injury. The way that you measure yourself has to be different. If you have an ankle injury and you're playing soccer, you can't think you suck when you're actually on the field and still scoring goals, even though you're not the all-star MVP or whatever. And I think that's probably the point you were trying to make. I think that's a really powerful topic.
Well, we did our second Next Level Hope Foundation event. Thank you to everybody who donated. Thank you to everybody who came. Thank you to everyone who volunteered, everybody on the team who made it possible. That I won't say we gave the same amount of effort, but we did our best the first time based on our understanding of everything, whether it was the lead up. I know we should have done more, and you're always going to know you should do more, but part of doing your best is actually doing how much you think you should be. That's another thing too, based on the actual awareness of what you have. But this time we went from having 2 children show up on the first one, so our Father's Day event, to having the holiday one where I think it was 15. We had 20 children register, 15 ended up showing up.
Oh, it's a blast.
That's 7 times the amount.
Oh, it was mayhem in that gym.
It was mayhem, but it went really well. It went really, really well.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Doing our best on the first one is vastly different than doing our best on the second one, which will be drastically different than doing our best on the next one. We just have more awareness now. That's the other thing too. Awareness allows you to understand how to do better. But I think sometimes we lose sight of do better also means treat yourself better too. Having the grace, and again, it's always a fine line, I know that, but having the ability to give yourself grace and give yourself permission, where I had a day last week, Alan, I think it was last Sunday, where I literally only did like one or two things on my system of success. And I told you, I said, I just got to get to the weekend. And we had that conversation. You said, just get to Saturday, get finished with Saturday. And I had that moment where I said, look, doing my best today is going to be doing these things, making sure I check the most important boxes, and then resting and recovering, because I have not taken time for me and I'm burning to the ground. I need this. Doing your best is different. It's personal. It's specific based on the season, and I won't even say the season, but the storm, whatever the storm is. Right now, it's grind time. Other times it's been, okay, I just have done grind time and I'm burning to the ground. I need to fill my cup. It's that, I don't want to say balance. It's the flow of that. Understanding, where are we? Okay, where are we going? Okay, where have we been? Where are we going next? It's never ending. But it's going to be a very, very hard journey if you're feeling guilty about everything that you're doing and not doing that you shouldn't be feeling guilty about. There should be an appropriate amount of feeling towards things and lack of things. That's the goal. And again, I know that's super hard to get to land, but that's what I want to land in this episode. We're going to talk a little bit about permission and guilt tomorrow as well, but I want to touch on it today. Alan, quickly, anything else?
Hey guys, so I wanted to give a little bit of my experience about group coaching. I'm learning stuff, I'm applying the habits, and I have other people that's doing the same exact thing. One of the biggest things that I think I gained from group coaching is when I went through that month of being so sick, I was so determined that I would just try to do as much as I could. And I just couldn't wait until I felt good enough to get back to doing all of them. I've just seen so much growth in myself, and I am so appreciative to have the group, to have, that immersive experience. And I really appreciate all that y'all do.
Three buckets of individuals, just to understand this. We'll use soccer as an analogy. Soccer game, big championships coming up. First bucket is someone who could do really well in the game, but is lazy and doesn't prepare. Okay, that person probably, and they're not injured. Okay, they have talent beyond preparation, and they're just kind of not doing all they can with all they have. Second bucket, the person who is doing their best, but maybe isn't as naturally talented, but they're putting in the work. Okay? Third bucket, maybe is doing their best and is extremely, extremely, extremely talented. Some people don't do their best. That's bucket one. Some people do their best with all they have. And then the third bucket, some people better their best, which is they do their best in terms of effort and time invested in, and then they reassess and try to improve. And I think that hopefully we're all, and I actually said this to Emilia recently because our relationship has been magnificent, but individually we've been very challenged with our families and with holidays and with being busy. And again, not with our families in a negative way, but everything in Q4 was overwhelming. We were both very much in the pressure cooker. And I said this to her. I said, are we doing all we can with all we have? And if we can say yes to that authentically, not ego, not BS, not telling ourselves a story when we're actually just watching Netflix, are we doing all we can with all we have? And I said, I feel like I can say yes. If you feel you can say yes, then that's it. That's good. Awesome. Okay? If we're not, where aren't we? And what do we do about it? And I know that sounds overly simplistic, but everyone can check in with that. And you're not as capable when you have an ankle injury in this analogy. You're not supposed to be. And are you doing everything you can to rehab your ankle? Are you getting enough rest and recovery? Remember, The medicine that's going to cure one patient might kill another. Hardcore statement, but it is true. Rehab, this person over here, they're injured. They need to take a rest day and not go to the gym. This person here hasn't gone to the gym in 4 weeks and is not injured. They need a tough workout, right? And that the medicine that can cure one patient might kill another. That's why it's so hard to give blanket advice. And that's why Kevin and I contemplate so deeply on all these topics, because there's so many layers. Anyone can say, work harder. Okay, well, for everybody? What if someone's already working too hard and not taking any rest? Okay, well, rest harder. Okay, well, what if the person's over resting? And see how advice always needs to be customized, which is why coaching is so valuable, by the way. That's why we unpack these layers, is so that hopefully you hear us and then contemplate. Very last thing I'll say, I promise. I had a team member recently. I'm on the phone with her. She's on fire. I said, true or false, you're the most fulfilled you've ever been? She's like, true. And I said, okay, awesome. And I was like trying to unpack what made the difference. I'm always trying to help. I want to connect the dots of what's making the difference, and I want to help them connect the dots of what's making the difference. We eventually get to her peak performance tracker. She listens to NLU every single day. And I was like, oh. Now, again, I realize this is a plug for our podcast. At least it seems that way. I'm telling you, that's what's making the difference. And here's why. Not Kevin and I are so awesome and we're the best show in the world. None of that. Even though I do think it's really good. You know what it is? You're constantly checking in every day. Every single day, you're contemplating your own choices. You're contemplating yourself and your direction. Can you imagine if every single day you change direction just a little bit? You like lock in on your own target? That's what's making the difference. And that was a big breakthrough for me of like, wow, you used to listen to the show all the time. You stopped listening for a couple years and now you're listening again. And now you just happen to be so fulfilled. I've been recommending this to my clients. I used to be bashful, Kev. I used to not want to push my own content on my own clients. Now I've been like, honestly, you should be listening to NLU every day. And I've seen a drastic difference in the people who do versus the people who don't. And I know you've had this moment where like you're on the coaching call and they're talking about the episode and then you're like, wait, when did we do that? Yeah. But anyways, that's what these episodes are for, to contemplate your own life. We talk a lot about our stories and our experiences, but we hope you're contemplating your own life and shifting the 1% improvements and 1% shifts can change it all.
Question for this episode. I want to do a better job of giving questions for you to think about when we leave here, when we're not in your ear and the episode is over. You're going to go about your day. You're going to go about your commute. You're going to go about your workout, whatever it is. It'll hopefully allow you to kind of replay that and just focus on it. Are you doing your best right now based on everything, based on all the conditions, based on all the specifics, based on the situation, based on circumstances? Are you doing the best you can? If not, when's the last time you did the best? You did your best. You gave it your all. And if you are, how will you make sure that you continue to give your best? Those will be my 3 questions to ask in this episode. Next Level Nation. January 3rd, 2023. Not only 2 days, 3 days.
Tell them.
Yeah. Not only 3 days into the new year.
Tell them.
Could be day 1 of the new you. Could be call 1 of Next Level Group Coaching. 1 of 12 calls. 6 with Alan and I. 6 with our assistant coach, Jesse. At the end of the day, Alan gave a plug to the podcast. I'll give a plug to group coaching. If you want to grow, you have to take in different information. If you want to feel supported in different ways, you probably have to have more supportive people in your life. That's the beauty of group coaching. Not everybody is ready for one-on-one coaching. Not everybody can afford one-on-one coaching, but group coaching is a great alternative because you get to join with other people. You're not on your own. You can ask questions. You'll feel safer. You'll feel included. You'll feel like you belong. That is the ultimate goal. Link is in the show notes. Please join us.
Reach out if you want us to send you the Instagram handles. We have permission to send you people who have gone through the program, some of them multiple times, and they can tell you what their experience was. And it comes out to reach out to us as well. If you're a listener of this show, we have a promo code specifically for listeners that's 30% off. I'm pretty sure it comes to less than $60 a month. I'm fairly certain. Kev, you're the CFO.
I think it's 69. I think it's
69?
It's less than
Okay.
70.
So for less than $70 a month for 6 months, you can do this program and just reach out to us. We'll send you the Instagram handle of people that you can talk to. You can literally ask them, like, what was their experience? What was it like? Why should I do it? Why shouldn't I do it? That way you know you're getting your money's worth.
Strong work. Next Level Nation, tomorrow for episode number 1193, we are going to do our weekly Q&A. Remember, we have changed it, so we're not doing the live podcast and then the Q&A. This is just going to be random questions that Alan and I are getting throughout the week, whether it's in our groups or personally or coaching clients, whatever it may be. At some point, we will have a landing page on the website where you can ask questions, but please feel free to reach out to us directly. Wherever you can get a hold of us, we are happy to field these questions. How do I avoid holiday guilt as a dream chaser? So one of the questions that we got was something along the lines of, very similar to what we just talked about. Is it okay for me to take time off during the holidays? Should I be working on Christmas Day? Should I be working on Christmas Eve? How do I figure out whether or not I do that? I know Alan will most likely be working on both. I will as well, but not to the same degree Alan will. But we have different reasons for that, and I'm sure we will discuss that. As always, we love you, appreciate you, grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans, we have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
And we'll see you at the next level.